My name is Daniela. I am 24 years old now, but this story starts when I was 12. It happened many years ago, but I still remember everything like it was yesterday. I grew up in a big city near the sea. The streets were always full of noise. Cars, people, shops, and buses. We lived in a tall apartment building. Our flat was on the 5th floor. It had 2 small rooms, one tiny kitchen, and a balcony where I could see the sea in the distance. I lived there with my mother, Elena. She worked in a hospital. She was not a nurse or a doctor. She cleaned the hospital rooms every day, even on weekends. Her hands were always tired, and her shoes were always old, but she smiled when she came home. She called me my star. She said I was the best thing in her life. We didn't have a lot. Our sofa was old, our fridge was small, and sometimes we had the same food 3 days in a row. But we had love, we had hugs, we had laughter. My mother told me stories at night. She made hot soup when I was sick. She came to every school event, even when she was tired. I loved her more than anything. I always thought we were just like other families. I didn't have a father, but I never asked why. My mother said, "It's just the 2 of us, and that's enough." And I believed her. I never asked more. At school, I was quiet. I didn't talk much. I had one best friend, Layla. She had a big family, 2 brothers, a baby sister, and a father who drove a taxi. Her house was noisy and full of food. I liked going there. Sometimes I wondered about my family, but I didn't ask questions. I didn't want to hurt my mother's feelings. Everything changed one day, just before my 13th birthday. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was helping my mother fold clothes. The sun was coming through the window. A neighbor came to visit, an old woman named Teresa. She lived downstairs and always brought cookies for me. That day, she looked at me and said something strange. "It's amazing how much Daniela looks like her father," she said, laughing. I stopped folding the shirt in my hands. My mother's smile faded. "Teresa," my mother said quietly, "please don't." Teresa looked confused. "Oh, she knows, doesn't she?" My mother shook her head. "She's 12, Teresa said. "She should know by now." I didn't speak. My hands felt cold. My heart started to beat fast. "Know what?" I asked. There was silence in the room. My mother looked at me, then at the floor. Teresa looked embarrassed. She stood up and said she had to go. I watched her leave. Then I turned to my mother. "What was she talking about?" I asked. "Who is my father?" My mother sat down slowly. She looked tired. She looked afraid. "I didn't want to tell you yet," she said. "I was waiting for the right time." "Tell me now," I said. My voice was shaking. She looked at me with soft eyes. "You were not born from me. she said. You were born from another woman. I adopted you when you were a baby. Her words felt like cold water on my skin. I stared at her. What do you mean? I asked. I found out a woman at the hospital didn't want to keep her baby, she said. She was young and alone. She gave birth and left the baby. She didn't even give you a name. I was there that day. I held you in my arms. I felt something. I couldn't let you go. You're not my real mother? I asked, my voice cracking. I am your mother, she said. I raised you. I gave you love. But I didn't give birth to you. I stood up. My legs felt weak. I felt like the walls were falling. You lied to me, I said. All these years, you lied. Tears came to her eyes. I only wanted to protect you. I want to find my real mother, I said. I want to see her. I want to ask her why she gave me away. She didn't say no. She didn't stop me. I have the name of the woman, she said quietly, but I never contacted her. I didn't think it was right. I didn't answer. I went to my room and closed the door. I cried all night. My pillow was wet with tears. I didn't eat dinner. I didn't speak to my mother. In the morning, I packed a small bag. I put in my clothes and some money I had saved. My mother saw me getting ready. She gave me a piece of paper with an address. She lives in a town called Elmer's Bay, she said. It's 2 hours from here. Will you try to stop me? I asked. No, she said. But please, be careful. I left the house. I didn't hug her. I didn't say goodbye. I took a bus to Elmer's Bay. I sat near the window and watched the buildings pass. My heart was full of questions. Who was my birth mother? Why did she leave me? Did she ever think about me? When I arrived, I walked to the address on the paper. It was a small house with white walls and a blue door. I knocked. A woman opened the door. She looked about 40. Her hair was short and black. She looked surprised to see me. Can I help you? She asked. I think I'm your daughter, I said. Her face went still. She didn't speak for a few seconds. Then she said, Come inside. The house was clean, but small. There were pictures on the wall. None of me, of course. She gave me a glass of water. We sat at a small table. I was very young when I had you, she said. I didn't have a job. I had no support. I was scared. I left the hospital the next day. Why didn't you try to find me? I asked. I thought you were better off without me, she said. Her words felt like knives. I didn't cry. I didn't get angry. I just sat there, quiet. After some time, she said, You should go back. I don't have space here. I have my life now. I can't take care of you. I stood up. My hands were shaking. Thank you. I said. I didn't mean it. I walked out the door. The sun was setting. The street was quiet. I sat on a bench near a park. Children were playing. I watched them and felt cold inside. I didn't know where to go. I didn't want to go back, but I didn't want to stay. I took out my phone. I wanted to call someone, but I didn't know who. I thought about my mother, Elena, the woman who raised me, the woman who stayed, the woman who gave me everything. I opened a new message and wrote, I am sorry. I made a mistake. Can I come home? Then I waited. I sat on the bench near the park. My bag was by my feet. The sky was dark now. Streetlights came on one by one. I waited for a reply. I kept looking at my phone. My hands were cold. My heart was beating fast. I felt tired and empty. Then, finally, my phone buzzed. It was my mother, Elena. Her message said, Yes, Daniela, come home. The door is open. Please be safe. When I read her words, tears came to my eyes. I took a deep breath and stood up. I didn't know how to say sorry. I didn't know how to face her again. But I knew one thing. I wanted to go back. I walked to the small bus stop. It was quiet. I waited alone. A few cars passed, but no one looked at me. I felt like a ghost, quiet, lost, and invisible. When the bus came, I gave the driver my money and sat near the window. The ride felt long. My eyes were open, but I didn't see anything outside. I was only thinking about home. I arrived in the city late at night. The roads were almost empty. I walked slowly toward our apartment. The buildings looked the same. The air smelled like the sea. When I reached our building, I looked up at the window. The light in the kitchen was on. I walked up the stairs, one step at a time. My legs were heavy. My heart was heavy too. When I reached the door, I didn't knock. It was open. I pushed it gently and stepped inside. My mother was sitting at the table. She was wearing her hospital clothes. Her hair was tied back. She looked up at me. We didn't speak. She stood up and came close. She touched my face. Her hand was warm. You're cold, she said. Sit down. She didn't ask where I had been. She didn't ask what happened. She brought a blanket and put it around my shoulders. Then she heated some soup on the stove. I could smell carrots and garlic. She placed the bowl in front of me. I ate slowly. I was hungry, but also ashamed. My eyes were full of tears, but I didn't let them fall. After dinner, she gave me clean clothes and showed me to my room. Everything was the same. My bed, my books, my posters on the wall. I changed and lay down. My mother stood by the door. Good night, Daniela, she said. I whispered, Good night. She turned off the light and closed the door halfway. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and listened to the city sounds. A car horn, a dog barking, a baby crying in another apartment. But inside our home, it was quiet. In the morning, I woke up early. The kitchen smelled like toast and coffee. My mother was already dressed. She had to go to the hospital. She left a note on the table. There is food in the fridge. Rest. We'll talk later. I'm glad you're home. I read the note again and again. I felt warm inside. I put the note in my bag. Later that day, I cleaned my room. I folded my clothes. I opened my school books. I tried to feel normal again. In the evening, she came home. She looked tired, but she smiled when she saw me. We had dinner together. Rice, lentils, and salad. She didn't say much, but her eyes looked kind. After dinner, I washed the dishes. Then I turned to her and said, "I'm sorry." She sat down on the couch. I sat next to her. "I wanted to know where I came from," I said. "I thought maybe I would find something better." She said nothing. "I didn't find anything," I added. "She didn't want me. She has a new life. She didn't even ask how I am." My mother looked at me. Her eyes were full of sadness. "I was afraid this would happen," she said. "That's why I didn't tell you before. I didn't want you to feel like nothing." I looked down. I felt like nothing when she told me to leave. "You are not nothing," she said. "You are my daughter. I may not be your birth mother, but I am your real mother." I started to cry. I couldn't stop. She pulled me into a hug. She held me for a long time. "You gave me everything," I said. "And I left you. You were confused," she whispered. "But you came back. That's what matters." The next day, I went back to school. My teacher was happy to see me. My friend Layla ran to me at break time. "Where did you go?" she asked. "I just needed time," I said. She smiled and gave me a cookie. "You look sad, but also strong." That made me smile. After school, I helped my mother cook dinner. We made soup and bread. I washed the vegetables. She told me stories from work about a nurse who danced in the hallway and a little boy who gave her a flower. We laughed. The kitchen felt warm again. The silence was gone. One night, while I was doing homework, my mother came into my room. She sat on the edge of my bed. "I want to show you something," she said. She opened a small box. Inside were baby clothes, a photo of me as a baby, and a paper from the hospital. "I kept these for you," she said. "I wanted you to have them one day." I looked at the photo. I was small, wrapped in a white blanket. My mother was holding me. She was younger, but her eyes were the same. "You held me that day?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "And I never let go." I hugged her tightly. "Thank you for choosing me." She smiled. "Thank you for staying." After that night, things started to feel normal again. We watched movies on Fridays. We ate ice cream on Sundays. We took walks by the sea when she had a day off. I still thought about my birth mother sometimes, but not with pain anymore, just with understanding. She gave me life, but Elena gave me everything else. I knew who my real mother was. Years passed. I grew up. I finished school. I went to college in the same city. I studied to become a teacher. I wanted to help children learn and grow. I wanted to give them hope and support, the way my mother gave it to me. Now, I am 24 years old. I work in a small school near our home. I teach young children reading, writing, and speaking. I teach them with patience and love. I always remember how one kind person can change a life. My mother changed mine. We still live in the same apartment. The rooms are the same, but the feeling is different. It feels lighter now, more peaceful. My mother doesn't work at the hospital anymore. She retired last year. Now she spends more time at home. She reads books and drinks tea by the window. I take care of her now. I cook her meals. I wash her clothes. I walk with her to the park. I help her with the small things, the way she helped me when I was small. Sometimes we sit together and talk. Other times we sit in silence. But even in the quiet, there is love. We never talk about the day I left. We don't talk about the woman I went to find. But we both remember. We just don't need to say the words anymore. One evening, I was looking through a photo album. My mother came and sat next to me. I turned the pages slowly. There were pictures of birthdays, school days, beach trips, and quiet Sundays. In every picture, my mother was there, smiling, holding me, or standing near me. I didn't take many pictures of myself when I was young, she said. I'm glad you took pictures of us, I replied. She smiled and touched my hand. These are my favorite years, she said. All the years with you. My heart felt warm. Sometimes people ask me about my family. Do you have any brothers or sisters? They say. No, I say. It was just me and my mother. Where is your father? They ask. I don't know him, I say. But that's okay. Some people look sad for me, but I don't feel sad because I have more than many people. I have a home. I have love. I have someone who stayed with me through everything. I remember the day I almost lost it all. I remember sitting on that bench, feeling cold and alone. I thought I didn't belong anywhere. I thought I had no value. But now I know the truth. Family is not always about blood. It is about love. It is about care. It is about who shows up for you again and again. I learned that the hard way, but I'm thankful I did. Now, I tell my students to always ask questions, but also to listen with their hearts. I tell them that every person has a story, and sometimes that story is not simple, but every story is important. One day, I gave my class a writing task. Write about someone who changed your life, I said. One little girl raised her hand and asked, "Can I write about my grandmother? She takes care of me." "Yes," I said. "That's perfect." I went home that day and thought about my own story. I took out my notebook and wrote a letter to my mother. "Dear Mama, you didn't give birth to me, but you gave me everything else. You gave me food, clothes, a bed, a home. You gave me songs at bedtime and hugs when I cried. You gave me strength when I was weak. You gave me love when I didn't know what love was. I left once, but you waited. I made mistakes, but you forgave. You are not my mother by blood. You are my mother by heart, and that is the kind of love that never breaks. Thank you for choosing me. I will choose you forever. Your daughter, Daniela." I left the letter on her bed. The next morning, I found a small flower in a cup next to my breakfast plate. My mother didn't say anything, but her smile told me everything. Now, every year on my birthday, we don't talk about gifts. We talk about memories. We talk about the first time we baked bread together. The time I got lost in the supermarket and cried. The night I won a school prize and she jumped with joy. These are the things that matter. Not names, not blood, not where I came from, but where I stayed and who stayed with me. So when people ask me, "What is family?" I smile. I tell them, family is the one who waits. Family is the one who stays. Family is the one who calls you back home when you are lost. I am Daniela. I was once a girl with questions and pain. Now, I am a woman with peace and love. This is my story. Thank you for listening. If you liked my story, please like, comment, and share. More simple and emotional stories are coming soon.